Here we are, another Monday morning. We start the day and we start the week with a special this morning.
Yeah, we're paying tribute, of course, to the incredible life and career of Cilla Black, who sadly passed away at the weekend.
Now, we're going to be talking to those closest to her, including good friends Christopher Biggins and Lionel Blair, and we'll take a look at some of her greatest moments as a TV host and singer.
And we'd love you to get involved as well. Hear your memories of Cilla. Do you have any? Have you met her? Do get in touch with us, 08000 30 40 44, the usual number there on your screen. By 11:30, if you get those to us, and we'll try and read them out on air. Or you can email this morning at itv.com.
Now, as well as that, the new girl on the Corrie Cobble, Sarah Harding, will talk about the inspiration behind her new solo single. She's got that coming out on what really happened in her soap debut and her reaction to it.
Also, here's the chef who taught Jamie Oliver how to cook Italian. That's Gennaro Contaldo. He's sharing his secrets to the world's best pasta bake today. It's kind of pasta masterclass with Gennaro. OK, so sit back, relax. Here's how it shapes up on this Monday morning. Take my word for it. Yeah,
take my
it's
word
all
for
there
it.
Anyway.
Well, you see, of course, on everyone's mind this morning, it's so sad. When I heard that news yesterday, you're sort of a bit taken back and you think, really, Cilla's dead? Another one of the greats gone. And
young. Wasn't expecting that. It's young, isn't it?
So relatively young, of course. I was last with her about 8 weeks ago, and very shortly we're going to have two of her closest friends telling us the Cilla they knew and loved.
But first, let's remind ourselves a little bit about Cilla's life.
A career that spanned more than 50 years began at the Cavern Club in Liverpool in the 1960s, where Priscilla White, as she was then known, worked as a cloakroom assistant, hanging out with the Beatles. It was John Lennon who introduced her to the band's management, and where her music career took off, scoring 11 top 10 hits, 20 consecutive top 40 hits, and 2 #1 singles.
Come on, what's all this?
Well, we used to have a dog named Bruce.
Oh, that's nice.
Cilla's cheeky sense of humour caught the eye of TV producers, and she soon became one of Britain's best-loved entertainers, capturing the nation's heart. In the 70s, 20 million people would sit down to watch Cilla, and by the 90s, she was the queen of Saturday night television, hosting shows Blind Date
Where'd you come from?
and Surprise, Surprise.
Surprise, surprise, it's Cilla here.
But despite the fame and fortune, Cilla remained down to earth.
Toronto!
Even when the girl left Liverpool, Liverpool never left the girl.
Surprise, surprise!
And here we are, joined in the studio by two of Cilla's friends and professional TV stars, Christopher Biggins and Lionel Blair. And just strange that we're sitting here talking about this.
As I heard you say yesterday morning, it was terrible. Just, I couldn't believe it. And had a terrible day yesterday. And just thinking about it, I'm sorry, making me go. But, you know, she was so wonderful. And I can't believe she's no longer here.
That's what's so hard, Chris, isn't it? When such good friends leave us, and you can't imagine, you'll never hear that laugh again, you'll never see them walk through a door again.
I think one just imagines that she's standing there and she's going to come and join us in a minute to talk about something. I mean, she was wonderful, and I worked with her 31 years ago, and we remained friends right up until her death. I mean, I spoke to her a week ago, and she told me she was going to Spain and that she had a little bit of arthritis, but the painkillers were working and she was much happier. And she said, let's meet in September when I get back and we'll have dinner. And then she said, why don't you and Neil come to Barbados after the pantomime? So we sort of planned things, you know.
Yeah.
And she's going to leave a huge, huge void because she was, of course, what I think some people tend to forget, young people, that she was such a big pop star.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, that career was
TV,
extraordinary. And then she had a period where she almost semi-retired. And then she came back and took television, Saturday night television, by storm.
Yeah.
First of all with Surprise, Surprise, and then Blind Date. I mean, she was an iconic woman.
Absolutely.
And we all know how difficult it is for women in television. She conquered it, and conquered it like nobody's business.
She came up and did, I used to do Blackpool Night Out, you know, and she'd come up And this is 50 years ago, so I've known her 50 years.
Sure.
And she said, when are you going home? I said, well, I have to wait till tomorrow morning. Oh, you don't have to do that. Brian's got a plane for me. And she flew me back to London in her plane.
But see, that was it, Lionel. I think today there's a lot of quite ordinary people on television, ourselves included. No, I don't mean you two, I mean us two.
Speak for yourself.
But,
Yes.
you know, I think when you were with her, you knew you were in the presence of a star.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But a friend,
Yeah.
too. And
She
as
was a star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as she walked on, the public would smile because it was their friend coming on. Not just a star, she was a star.
Our Scylla.
Our Scylla.
Yeah.
Laura laughs.
Yeah.
And of course, the one I loved about Scylla, she put that accent on television. I mean, she didn't speak like that in real life. There was no Laura.
No, not
When
at
you went
all.
out for a meal, that's a Laura fun, that meal, wasn't it? You know, it was all...
Can you remember, Lionel, the first time you ever met her? Were you
Yes,
working
I was
together? Or?
doing a special with Bruce. And he said, I've got Cilla Black as my guest. And she was having in a spa somewhere. And we had to go to the spa to talk to her
Yeah.
and tell her about what the television show was about and how to do this and what the sketch was going to be and She was new, you know. She didn't know.
Yeah. I remember going back as far, I remember quite a lot of her show in the 60s. On the Saturday night, you had Cliff Richard, you had Lulu, or Shirley Bassey,
Yeah.
or Petula Clark, or whatever.
Yeah.
There was a whole range of people like that hosted their own show. And then, people won't believe this, but TV used to actually transmit pantomimes. There was a pantomime
There
one
was?
year with her and Cliff Richard.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it was Aladdin. I'm pretty sure, and she was Aladdin, I'm assuming, in all of that. And when you were in an era of 2 TV channels or 3 TV channels, you know, and not the hundreds that exist now, she was relevant to everyone.
A massive audience.
Oh, we
in
used to
those
get,
days.
surprise, we got
Yes, you
over
were in it
15
with it.
million
Yeah.
viewers. I mean, which is unheard of nowadays. Everyone's very excited over 3.
And was
Yeah.
that the first time, Biggins, that you worked with her? Surprise,
It was.
Surprise?
I mean,
Yeah.
I remember Alan Boyd, the executive producer of Surprise Surprise, coming to see me in Newcastle. I was doing pantomime and saying, would I like to do this show? It was a big Saturday night show with a big star. And I was so taken aback, I said yes, but I didn't think to say who the star was. So he said to me at the end of the meeting, would you like to know who you're going to be with? And I said, yes, I would. He said, Cilla Black. And I thought, I can't believe there's Cilla Black.
Yes.
This is a young Wiltshire boy who's going to be on television with Cilla Black. And we were filmed next door. And I remember vividly meeting her for the first time, and it was love at first sight. And we've
Yeah.
remained in love until yesterday. I mean, it was
absolutely.
breathtaking.
I was saying that Liverpool should be the city of stars because if you think of all the stars that came from Liverpool, from Arthur Askey, Ken Dodd, the Beatles, of course, and
Jerry Marsden, who
Jerry
we're gonna
Marsden,
feature
who's
later
going to be
on,
here,
yeah.
Claire
Freddie and the
Sweeney,
Dreamers.
and all
Yeah.
the one, Frankie Vaughan.
Frankie Vaughan, yeah.
I think
of
what they should
Liverpool.
do, and I don't know what the arrangements are, but I'm sure they'll do a memorial. And I think they should do it in the Catholic Church in
Liverpool.
I think because I think that would
so.
be so
Yeah.
special, and I'm sure she'll be married locally.
Let me ask you about the death of her husband, Bobby. When he died, which I think was 1999 or so, and then the television career ended 2 or 3 years later. I mean, not only was her husband, this man managed her business
Yeah.
life as well. How big a blow was it,
I think it
to
was
lose Bobby? And
tremendous.
did she ever get over that?
I think it was tremendous to go into an empty dressing room. You know, it's awful just being on. But to have had Bobby throughout her career, suddenly he wasn't there.
I don't think she ever got over it.
I don't either.
I really don't. And I think, you know, in a way, I can see them now, both in wherever you may like to think they are,
Yeah.
having a glass of champagne and
Always.
toasting to their life together, because they were completely together.
Well, I read that apart from the birth of their 4 children, sadly their daughter who they lost, they never had a night apart.
No.
In their whole
No,
marriage.
absolutely. I mean, we did a tour. It was the Everly Brothers, Cilla Black, Billy J. Kramer, and Lionel Blair and his dancers. That was, you know, and Bobby was there all the time. But when we had to stop over some nights, they didn't share a room. Bobby had his own room and Cilla had hers. There was no, even though they were together. No, before they were married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was, and it was like that. but they adored each other.
We're getting a lot of reaction from people obviously watching at home. Kate says, my late grandmother used to be Scylla's housekeeper. She often told me how they used to split the housework between them. She said Scylla was a lovely lady. She'll be sadly missed. Davina says, I was a blind date contestant, and speaking on behalf of all of us, it was a privilege to meet Scylla. You will be missed. We've got more reminiscence from Chris and Lionel right after this short break, and lots more tributes to come. Keep it here.
Hello. Hi, who's that? Hello, Lines in London. I don't think I've ever done a live for This Morning where it's worked. Watch yourself. Oh no. The pool man. Don't worry, it's fine. It's okay, leave it for the moment. They're having trouble.
Vale, vale, estamos a entrar en directo y está el coche ahí. Pues si lo puedes echar un poquillo para atrás, te lo agradezco, ¿sabes? El cable no importa que lo... No importa, hombre. Sin que se quede pisado, pero... Te lo agradezco,
Gallery in London, if you are hearing this, there are struggles with the IFB. I cannot hear the show at the moment.
Art and my art collection and
Yes.
my career. And I've got Trevor coming over.
How amazing!
Yes,
Yeah.
I invited him.
Richard,
I'm in
hi,
Belfast
it's Ruth
on
in the
Thursday
studio
night.
here.
I would
you
go
can
and
hear
see
me.
you.
You can't hear
Oh,
our
yes.
gallery.
I mean,
you don't look
this
like
is
you
an
can hear
artist
me.
that
You don't
Eamon
look like you can
introduced
hear
me
me at
to, and I
all.
bought a
Can
painting.
any...
Well, the programme this morning, we're paying tribute all morning to Cilla Black, and we want your memories. Maybe you've had a photograph or a selfie taken with her, or your memory of maybe first seeing her perform somewhere or growing up with her on television.
Yeah, Sandra says, I can't quite take this in. When I was a teenager, I worked on a pantomime that Cilla starred in. I was totally in awe of her and her voice. Lots more comments coming from you, so thank you very much. We'll read those as we go through the show. Christopher Biggins and Lionel Blair still with us, great friends of Cilla's, here with all their memories. First, we've got a competition for you. It's an incredible chance to win £80,000. Here's Catherine Tilsley with the details.
Good morning from Cyprus. Whatever the weather this summer, the forecast for you just got a whole lot brighter.
We're turning up the heat this week with another chance to bank a scorching £80,000.
Even better, the entire amount that we're serving up is completely tax-free.
Which means you get to spend every single penny.
So, if you want a chance to get spending with an incredible £80,000 at your disposal, all you have to do is...
text PRIZE to 82336. Text costs £1.50 plus one standard network rate message. Call 09041 61 9999. Calls cost £1.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to Day 3015, PO Box 7558, Derby DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 5 p.m. on Sunday the 30th of August. Good luck!
Let's get back to more Cilla Black memories. We're joined by Christopher Biggins and Lionel Blair here. Do you remember the first time you met her, Lionel?
Yeah, I think it was the show that I did with Bruce, and he said, Cilla's our guest, and she's never been a guest on one of these sort of shows, and we had to go and tell her what it was all about and everything. And we hardly talked about that because we just laughed all the time.
She was such fun, Chris, wasn't she? All her friends she was quite naughty, quite cheeky. She had a twinkle in her eye. She loved to party.
Yes.
She loved a party. I mean,
loved a glass of champagne.
And loved a glass of champagne. But she, you know, she loved. For instance, you go out for dinner, and then perhaps you go and go to the theatre with her, and then you go out for dinner, and then you go back to give her a lift back, and then she said, "Why did we go dancing?" And suddenly it was 4 or 5 in the morning, and you know she did this with all her friends. Paul O'Grady was a terrible combination, the two of them. They used to go out all the time. They caused havoc.
And morning, Paul, if you're watching, I'm sure you must be devastated, as are Chris and Lionel, because I know you're a very good friend. He might be watching this morning. Love to you as well.
Yes, he is. I spoke to him yesterday, and he is devastated, as we all are. I mean, I think we were all in shock yesterday, because it's just something that you read about, you don't think, imagine it's real.
It's funny you said, like 72, it's young. And it is
to me,
today.
I think so today.
It's young. Oh, it is to me.
And how was her health, Chris? Because I know she talked about her hearing.
Yes, she had a problem with her hearing and arthritis, and she was taking painkillers for her knees. And when I spoke to her 10 days ago, she said she was feeling much better. She said that she didn't have any pain, whether that was the painkillers were kicking in. And she seemed very jolly, funnily enough, 10 days ago. I mean, it was, you know, inspirational to hear her, because she'd gone through... This year's been quite tough for her, health-wise, I think.
And also, we talked earlier about her losing Bobby, which you both say you don't think she ever got over. And she was on Loose Women when she talked about him then. I think we've got that, and she got very emotional. Just shows it was never far from the surface. Have we got that one?
It's a bit bittersweet, as you say. But I remember the phone call to you, because I tried to make it better for you. And it was not long after I lost Bobby.
I know, darling. And look, all these years later, you still feel it.
And he's watching you, and he'll be there at that BAFTA, watching you get that BAFTA.
That was a couple of years ago.
And a proud moment for her getting... Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right. It's just that I'm doing a line on that. But the thing is, you know, she did love him so much. And I remember... when we did Surprise,
I'm getting tissues for you.
I did say to her at one particular point, we were about to be introduced for the show, I said, did you ever have any other men in your life. And I was then called onto the set, and then she came running on and ignored the audience and said, no!
Yes,
and I think she had to think about it, because the whole of her life was Bobby.
Bobby, absolutely.
I mean, even if she went to the hairdressers, he would go with her.
Yeah.
And, you know, he would pay for everything, and he was just amazing.
I think we've got a very interesting insight into that relationship. And I think a lot of people discovered Cilla for the first time through the ITV drama, Cilla, with Sheridan
Smith, wasn't she wonderful? You know.
But it shows you, you know, an amazing entertainer, a number of careers, the singing, the television, presenting as well. She loved showbiz, but she was a formidable business person as well. She knew her worth, Chris, didn't she?
She really did, and I think that the TV film, which I think was extraordinary to have something like that done in your own lifetime. And I think she obviously, it was approved by her, but I don't think she ever watched it, because I think she was too close to it. And certainly some of the things that happened in it were quite shocking. I mean, the moment that Bobby said, I think I'm going to pursue a singing career, and she said, no, you're not. Not if you're with me.
Yes, there's only one star.
Do you think they ever... I mean, was that anything that they ever regretted? Because obviously, if they'd have both done that, it might not have worked for them in this very strong showbiz marriage, which is unusual, as we know.
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think it would have worked. I mean, you know, because I think you have to have one star and one person looking after the star, and that was what Cilla thought, and I think she realised that.
Do we have that selfie available there, taken at the airport? Do we have that?
Yeah.
Do we have...
It's a lovely picture.
I think it shows. It says a lot about Cilla, because we talk often about sometimes, you know, celebrities and stars are very nice on screen. Sometimes they're not as nice off screen. But she loved her fans, didn't she? She had time for people.
She did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she was great, and of course we're living in the age of the selfie now. And, you know, this is... I've seen this picture, which I think... There you are.
Oh, it's
there
lovely.
It is.
That was just her heading off to Spain
Yes,
at the airport.
that's last week. That was a week
Friday.
ago. Yes, and, you know, there she is. And that's probably the last selfie that she's ever had taken. I mean, you know, it's...
And that's Amy Kelly.
And actually, she looks wonderful there, Cilla.
She does.
I mean, she really does. And she's got that
fantastic
mouthful of teeth, as she always had.
I mean, she was very close to her family.
I was reading an interview in The Sun today, and the reporter asked her, if you could live your life again, would you do away with all the intrusion of showbiz and whatever? And she says, oh, no, not in the slightest. She said, I'm going shopping now, and if I'm not recognised in the shops, I'll be very disappointed. Very disappointed. We've got Arlene Phillips on the line now. Arlene, good morning to you.
Arlene.
Sad news.
Yes, very, very sad. Just too young, and she was so much fun. I think everyone feels it, and it's the shock of it. I think that got to everyone that knows her.
Of course. How did you know her, Arlene?
Well, it's one of the people that I've known for years and years and years. You know, because we forever bumped into each other. We did the same TV shows, and in 2001 I was doing the Royal Variety Show, and I was choreographing a piece for Andrew Lloyd Webber. And she was doing a piece from Gypsy, and she absolutely stole the show. She made headline news because she has the best legs in show business.
Yes,
they
amazing
are
legs.
stunning, and she never lost those gorgeous legs. They stayed firm, they stayed trimmed, they stayed long and gorgeous. And she caused headline news, and I was working with Vinnie Jones, getting him to dance, and we thought, you know, everyone's going to want to get pictures of Vinnie surrounded by the very sexy dancers, but it was Cilla that everybody went, this is the star.
Well, Arlene, thank you very much indeed for that memory. Has she better legs than you?
No. I have to say...
better legs than a lot of people.
We did, Cilla and Gloria Hunniford and I did the Andrews sisters, and both girls were furious that I had better legs than they did.
You have got good legs.
You've seen them, haven't you? Very good legs.
Very
yes,
nice
thank
indeed.
you.
Guys, if you were to sum her up, the phrase national treasure has been used. Is that
She's a national treasure, a legend, and she had an appeal that Tommy Cooper had. When she walked on, everybody smiled.
Yeah.
And she was a very, very good friend.
Well, thank you both very much indeed for giving us that insight into all of this. More tributes to Scylla. It's a sort of Scylla morning here on This Morning. Let's go to the news. Here's Nina Hussein.
You do that one. And make it easy on yourself. Make it easy on yourself. 'Cause breaking up is so very hard to do.
Welcome back to Mondays This Morning. It's a Scylla special, looking back on the life and times of Cilla Black and sharing them with you.
Yeah, and we've got lots for you as well this morning. Memories, of course, of the showbiz legend Cilla, who died sadly on Saturday night at her home in Spain. We're hearing from some of her closest friends and colleagues, and we've got one of the many couples actually who owe their long and happy relationship to Scylla's blind date. There they are. They're coming in to talk to us.
When people say, did people ever fall in love and get married? Well, yes, actually they did.
Well, Cilla always used to say, shall I get a hat, didn't she?
Yeah,
and she got a hat for that.
So that's about 22 years ago. We'd love to hear your memories. Number on your screen right now, 8030 40 44. Get them in by 11:30, or you can email us at thismorning@itv.com.
Yeah, lots of those coming in. Lee says, my mum used to work at a talent agency in the 70s, and Cilla was one of the acts. Mum said she always lit up the room. A lot of people are talking about that today, aren't they? Saying she walked in and lit up the room.
Charisma. Also this morning, all things sunny and money. Martin Lewis is here with his top money-saving... They're travel tricks, we're calling these, and they're very, very interesting.
Also, the man who taught Jamie Oliver everything he knows about Italian cooking, that's Gennaro Cataldo. He's in the kitchen today, bringing a bit of dolce vita to This Morning.
Well, it's been 13 years since our next guest shot to fame as a member of Girls Aloud. Would you believe it? They went their separate ways 2 years ago, and now Sarah Harding is launching her solo career with a new single, and she's also caused a bit of interest with her role in Coronation Street. More about that in a moment. But first, the new single, Sarah, is called
Threads.
Threads. And let's pull one of those threads. Here we go. Right, very good, but what did it feel like doing that without the rest of the girls?
It was very strange, it was, but it was a really fun day. It's just there was so much more to do, but at least it kept me busy. You see, when I did a video with the girls, we would have to sit and wait while we did all our solo shots, so there'd be a lot more hanging around, put it that way, so there was a lot more to do.
Every time I work with any girls, no matter who they are, the day is spent with people applying lip gloss.
Yes.
And I'm not looking at anyone in particular here.
You know, lip gloss wears off quickly, doesn't it,
does.
Sarah?
We
needs
eat it.
reapplying. We look if it's flavoured as well.
Yeah.
We do a lot
Do
of that.
people really notice the difference?
Snogging, that's terrible for lip gloss.
There's not much of that going on.
You didn't keep kissing me, it wouldn't come off, would it?
Okay.
So Threads is about what, then?
It's basically based on some of my life experiences, and I think in this industry you come across some people that do let you down and take you for a bit of a, you know, sometimes. And I sort of, when I listened to the track, and I did it with Jamie Cullum's brother, Ben, and a lovely lady called Jules Thompson, who I co-wrote it with, and he said, how do you feel when you hear this track? And I was like, oh, it really, really makes me want to vent about something. And it was at a point in my life where I just wanted to get it off my chest, really.
Well, I'm going to listen to the lyrics more closely now.
Yeah, because
after that.
you know, in this industry, a lot of people try and cash in on you and things like that. And I just thought, you know what, it's time I had my say about it. But also, there's a moral to it. It's like you've got to let it go, because if you carry around that negative energy, it's not going to serve you, isn't it? So.
Now, on the subject of negative energy.
Oh, here we go.
Right, here we go. Right, on the subject. OK, there you are. You go on Coronation Street. You're doing your bit, and you're thinking this is a whole maybe new break, new aspect to you. I mean, personally, I enjoyed you very much in St. Trillians, I have to say. Thought it was very, very good. But there was a lot of spitefulness, wasn't there?
Well, I try not to pay any attention to that. I always knew, and Stuart Blackburn, the producer, he's the same as Shane Ward. He said the same thing. If you're going in as a known face, you're always going to get slack.
Michelle Collins got it, didn't she?
A lot of people who are known faces for other reasons, they do get a lot of stick for it. So I try not to pay any attention to that. But if anything, I channel that into a positive energy, and it just makes me more determined. I enjoyed it. You know, it's off my bucket list now. I mean, I've done films before. I've never done soaps before, and I was only ever asked to do 4 episodes, and I had the time to do it while I was waiting for my track to be finished. So then I thought, why not? It's my favourite soap. And it made me happy anyway, so I don't mind what anyone else... Everyone's going to have an opinion at the end of the day.
Yeah, I did think your first kind of debut on Coronation, you had to slap Tracy, but quite hard.
Well, it was choreographed. It was choreographed. And the character is quite an uptight character anyway, and they didn't want me to do a northern accent, so I do suppose I come across as me. Yeah. So I suppose that can be quite confusing as opposed to coming on as a character who's unknown, you know?
Yeah. You can't win, really, if you've gone with a northern
accent. You can't please everyone.
It was no good.
You know what I mean? But I had a laugh doing it. Everyone was so lovely to me, and I enjoyed my time there, and now I'm moving on.
But you're moving on, and you're going back, obviously, to your music roots, but does that mean that has burnt you or harmed you in terms of your acting ambitions? I mean, is that it?
No, not at all. It's actually a lot harder doing soaps. I did realise that. That was a big learning curve, because it's such a quick turnaround. It's such a quick turnaround. You don't get very long to learn your scripts. With films, you do get a lot of time. You get a lot of read-throughs with the whole cast. And it takes a lot longer to do a film. It takes 3 months, whereas you're filming a few scenes in a week.
So we said the single Threads is out on Friday, but so are you doing an album? Because you wrote this yourself.
I wrote. It's an EP at the moment because I wanted to get something out this year because I've been working on material for such a long time, and I keep promising it was going to come. And then at the beginning of the year, being the perfectionist I was, I just said, no, do you know what? I just want to start again. Everything sounds dated.
Yeah. So you look at it again and think, well, does it sound right?
Yeah, I just felt everything I'd already done sounded dated, and I wanted to just scratch it all and go back to my roots, get some real instruments, and go back to my rock chick roots.
Right, so you had a load of material, you had an album ready there, and then you went, no.
No, I want to start again.
Oh, no.
I know, and that's why it's an EP, partly, because I wanted it out this year. I said, it's now or never. I'm going to write 3 tracks, and I did a remix, and then we'll see how that goes, and then take it from there. But I've got so much to write about. I've had a very colourful life.
Yeah, I've had a colourful life. I remember one day, I don't know if you remember this, sitting in a double-decker bus with you.
Just out here, it was, yeah.
Sitting with a double-decker bus. It wasn't out here.
Wasn't it?
No, it wasn't here at all. And, we got talking, and didn't you tell me you used to work? Was it you used to work in a call centre as an operator?
I had many jobs when I was trying to make it as a singer, I was doing the circuits, and I had about 3 or 4 jobs going at the same time. I was really working hard,
No, you told me a very funny story that I can't repeat on TV, but it was very, very funny, and I'll share it with Ruth during the break. But listen, you have lived a life, continue to live it, continue peeling all those threads and doing what you do.
Thank you.
But
Thanks for having me.
it's exciting. Did I spot a bull in that video?
The metaphor was, I like to write in metaphors. You know, life's a roller coaster. Ride it like a rodeo. And I said to the director, we've got to get a rodeo.
Yeehaw! Yeehaw! Did you regret that?
Painful.
I was in so much pain the next day. I can't tell you.
In all your important little places,
but
which
you know
we won't
what?
go into.
But it was worth all. It was worth every ounce of pain.
Did you ever meet Cilla Black?
I did. I did. Bless her. And I even sang Anyone Who Had a Heart on Pop Stars. It was my 2nd week singing live.
That takes a big voice to do that, doesn't it?
Well, I do like to think I've got a set of lungs, as did she. And she did actually play Nicola's mum on one of our sketch shows as well. So it's such shocking news. I couldn't believe it when I found out. She was amazing. She was an absolute icon, and she's going to be sadly missed.
Sadly. Look forward to the album that follows the single when you get round to it.
Yeah,
and seeing you again acting somewhere, doing something.
I think we'll stick to films.
Thanks, Sarah. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed. Do you know, up next after the break, look, I'm really forward to meeting a guy. He was one of the Mersey Beat stars who knew Cilla when she started out first. He is Jerry Marsden, and he will be with us talking about Cilla memories and the Mersey Beat right after this short break.
You're my world, you are my life and day. You're my world, you're every prayer I pray. If our love seems there's no quick photo and then we'll...
Sure.
No, it's in delay, yeah. Yeah, no problem. No, I'll just watch the iPad, yeah. Lovely, thanks.
Step inside love and see. Step inside love. Step inside love. Step inside love.
She could really belt them out. A
Couldn't
great
she?
chanteuse, Cilla Black there. Thank you to those of you who've been in touch and joined the programme so far this morning and the stories about Cilla.
Yeah, and some of those stories are going to come from a couple who met 27 years ago on Cilla's blind date. There they are, still happily married. Talking to them in a moment. First, though, a lot of people, especially younger viewers, know Cilla Black as a TV personality, but as you saw there, she was a hugely successful singer before that.
So let it rain. What do I care? Deep in your heart, I'll still be there. And when I'm there, I see the love of the love. Anyone who had a heart will save me. Instead of saying love me too. So step inside love. Step inside love.
You know, the great thing about Cilla is that she just crosses so many generations. You know, if you were in the 60s, you will know who she was, in the 70s, in the 80s, in the
And
90s,
TV
in
and
the
music
noughties.
and, yeah.
And here to talk about what Cilla did for British pop music, because I think a lot of people forget she was a massive pop star, is Jerry Marsden from the famous Jerry and the Pacemakers. Great to see you, Jerry.
Nice to be here.
Just
sad occasion.
Oh, sad occasion, and
It's
the
nice.
passing of an era. But could you bring me back to the 60s when it was all happening on Merseyside?
Basically, yeah. I mean, it was all in the cavern.
Yeah.
The music started. And Cilla, God bless her, used to work as a cloakroom girl. And when we had a little break in between the set, she'd come into the dressing room, say, "Can I get up and sing?" I said, "What? Can I sing?" I said, "Yeah." So you get on stage, and she'd sing, and her favourite song was Fever. I know how much. And that's how she started. And she just carried on, and then she'd get up whenever she could to sing.
The thing that always got me, Jerry, if you ever met Cilla, she'd quite a slight frame, right? And yet these songs, these are gusty performances that she was able to bellow out.
Yes, she'd belt them out. She really would. I didn't think she would be able to sing the ones she was doing. And I'd wait and listen. And she'd sing them. She'd get up there, come out. Great.
And did you know when you first saw her sing, there's a star in the making there? Did you realise how
I did,
good she
actually.
was straight away?
When Brian Epstein came and said, "Cilla Black?" I said, "Well, put Cilla White." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well," I said, "Yes, yeah, definitely."
You say, though, some people might not realise she was Priscilla White.
White,
And it was, I gather it was a music paper that printed the name
The wrong name,
incorrectly
that's
and put
right.
Cilla Black, and she liked it.
Well, Brian did.
Yeah, Brian did.
Keep that name, sir.
Keep that name. I just want to now put in a musical context what that name meant in the 60s. And top man, king of the DJs, Mr. Tony Blackburn, joins us now via Skype. Tony, good morning to you. Just really interested, mate, in getting your perspective, because I think so many people know her simply as a television presenter. How would you rate her in terms of a singer?
Oh, tremendous. I mean, to have 11 hits, you know, top 20 hits is an achievement in itself. And when I was out on the pirate ships on Radio Carolina and Radio London, we were playing all this wonderful music that came out. I mean, Tony Hatch was the person that said to me that they had the ability in the 60s to write very short, catchy songs. And Cilla Black and Jerry and the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, you know, she was a part of that era. And you're quite right, Eamon. in saying that a lot of people nowadays will remember her for Blind Date and Surprise, Surprise, but, you know, she was a great singer as well, and the songs that came out were fantastic. But I remember her more for her warmth and her humour, as I think Jerry probably will, more than anything else.
What about internationally, Tony? I mean, you know, she's very well known here, well loved here. What about her music internationally?
Well, she was appreciated internationally. She didn't make it, and I know that she was always upset not upset, but she wanted to make it in America, and she didn't make it in America, as so many British artists haven't. And so that was her only disappointment, I suppose. But it made up for it in the fact that she had so many hits, and of course the terrific television. I mean, to be on Saturday night television constantly for 4 decades is an amazing achievement.
Tony, there's something in the back of my head, did she represent the UK at Eurovision, or am I just making that up?
Oh dear, no, you got me on that.
Was it something tells me something's going to happen tonight, or was that separate? No, I might just be making that up. But
I'm not quite sure. Jerry might know that, I'm not sure.
No, none of us are sure.
No.
We'll pass on that, but somebody at home will tell us. Tony, I think some of the songs, Alfie, Anyone Who Had a Heart, how amazing, such poignant songs, such strong songs as well. And what was the connection with Dionne Warwick? Did she cover one of her songs?
Yes, Anyone Who Had a Heart, she recorded that, and of course with Burt Bacharach, who made her, and I think it annoyed her slightly, to do about 30 takes on it as well. And there's a video where you can see her being slightly fed up after a few takes, as one would. But Anyone Who Had a Heart, I thought, was one of her best, and Step Inside. Well, they just go on and on. But she will be sadly missed, and I think I played a lot of her records yesterday on the programs I was doing, and I still haven't quite got over the shock. And I think and everybody I talked to say it just can't have happened. And it's amazing because she was such a terribly warm person. And I think what you saw on television was her. You know, there was no act to it. It was her, the warmth, the humour, and the fact she made doing the television programs look so easy. And they weren't. Those sort of shows, as you know well, Eamon and Ruth, are not easy to do.
No, and she definitely paved the way for women, I think, in entertainment on television. Yes. Tony, thank you very much. It's lovely to hear your memories.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And Jerry, it's true, they say, you know, you can take the girl out of Liverpool, but you never take Liverpool out of the girl. She's so loved in her home city, isn't she?
Yeah, and it's true, that is true. She will always be a Scouser. And it shows, she had a great personality, great charm. And we all loved her.
And she never forgot her roots, did she?
No, she didn't.
And did you, I mean, when you go back to those Cavern days and, you know, she was singing Fever and whatever, were you guys backing her? Did she sing with you? Did you perform with her even as she became more famous and you became more famous? Did you guys meet up on Palladiums and Saturday night shows? And
Yeah, I never played for her then.
Yeah.
But yeah, we certainly met and we did tours together. But yeah, I could see the improvement all the time. Great improvement in the vocals.
How will you remember her?
As a great entertainer, I will remember her. And also, as a lovely person, the best friend of my wife. And they got on so well together. And I, just with great charm and love, as everybody else will.
OK.
Yeah.
Jerry,
Thank you,
appreciate
Jerry.
your tribute. Thank you very much.
Alison, thank you for your comments, everybody. Alison says, Cilla was a cloakroom lady when my mum went to the Cavern Club. I met her years later. She was so lovely, laughing about her memories of that time with me. She was so down to earth. Thank you for all your lovely comments coming in.
As Tony was saying, it's just amazing we're sitting talking about this. It's just so unbelievable. Seems to be...
It's dreadful.
Dreadful.
We were talking about her music there, and of course she was well known for TV as well, and one of the shows that people loved most was Blind Date. We're going to be joined by presenter Jenny Faulkner, who actually was one of the early contestants on that show, and who could forget these two?
Stand by, Alex. This is your blind date for this evening, and here she is. You chose the lovely number 2, and that was Sue from West Midlands. Come in, Sue. Come on, tell us first impressions.
No, she's lovely. Yeah, very nice.
Very nice.
Very, very good.
What do you think of him? Very nice.
27.
27 years later. I'm just getting it from the horse's mouth there. Alex Datham with his wife, Sue. And they're still together? Yes, they are still together.
Just checking.
And the lovely Jenny Faulkner. I can understand why you were on the programme, obviously looking for love. I mean, you know.
Absolutely desperate. Desperate. Yeah.
I know the feeling.
But you weren't as successful.
No, I certainly wasn't. I think I remember watching you and thinking that's where you go to find your one.
Extraordinary to think that that's what's happened.
And you were the first couple to get married from Blind Date. What were your memories of Cilla from that show? Did you see much of her?
Yes, she's very friendly. She's made you feel very relaxed. Obviously, I was a real newbie to going on TV, and I was very nervous, but she totally sort of made it look easy. She fluffed her lines, which made me feel so much better, and she was just very welcoming and lovely, and she just was the same with everyone.
And how do you two look back on that whole experience? I mean, it is unbelievable when you think that, you know, people say, you know, how do you find a partner? You go to a pub, you join a club, you know, somebody you work with, or nowadays you go online.
You don't go
You
on
went
Blind
on
Date.
telly. You went on telly.
This is not I wouldn't recommend it to the public to say this is the way to do it. No. What is amazing, though, of course, that Cilla was put everyone totally at ease. The first time you see Cilla is generally that she's in rollers and in makeup, half in makeup. She comes down to the green room and says it's all going to be fine. And then, of course, you have this extraordinary memory, Susu, of when the screen goes back and you lay eyes on each other for the very first time. What an extraordinary thing to be able to show your children.
Yes.
To say
What
that
do
moment.
your children think of it?
They go through phases. They have excruciatingly embarrassing moments, and otherwise they think Mum and Dad are quite cool. So
How old are they now?
21 and 19.
So the teenage years might have been embarrassing.
A bit tricky.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was a bit
As
tricky.
for Jenny Faulkner's experience, now, are we going to be able to show that?
Oh,
yes?
you've got it.
Right.
Hopefully.
Oh, we don't have it.
we got
No,
it?
you're just going to have... No, you're going to have to just describe that to
Tell
us.
us what happened.
Oh, well, I was a picker, so I was like, yeah, guaranteed holiday. That was the nice bit, wasn't it? But I had to choose between 3 guys. I ended up choosing a lovely guy called Donda, who was a fish and chip shop fryer from Maidstone. He's probably watching now. Hello, Donda. And yeah, we went on a date. And the thing is, we were not destined to be a couple, but we had a really great time, and we were made to feel really welcome by Cilla. And she really kind of like teased us and made us relax and made us enjoy it. And on a personal level as well. I mean, working and watching the way she was presenting that show kind of inspired me, and I wanted to get into television. So ultimately, she gave me my break.
Yeah.
And did you saw her, I think, most recently at the BAFTA, when she received her BAFTA. You actually interviewed her.
Yes, I worked for BAFTA quite a lot, and so I interviewed her that night, and she was receiving, I think, the fellowship with a special recognition award, celebrating the fact that she was 50 years in the industry, which is quite incredible. And I cannot tell you how surprised I was, how nervous she was about it. This is the woman that was like the face of Saturday Night Telly when we were growing up. But she ultimately was quite nervous and quite shy, and she couldn't believe it.
Normal human.
Yes, she was.
But soon, Alex, I
But
mean,
superstar.
amongst the many times people will talk and happily reminisce about how you two got together, all things being equal, we wouldn't like to be talking to you today. You didn't
I think that's
expect
absolutely right.
on the telly
It's
today.
an extremely sad day. I think she was absolutely transcended our lives for 27 years. I mean, we went on the show in 1988. Was when we first, when the screen first went back. And she's acted really as a sort of fairy godmother to us for a long time.
Well, she came to the wedding with her husband, Bobby.
So she had to buy the hat.
She had to buy the
Yeah,
hat.
we'll have to buy a hat.
She
So
has
she
since
did. And
lost
there
it,
is the
she
hat.
said.
What a hat that is.
I love
So
it.
where was this? Where was this happening?
That is in...
was in my local church in the West Midlands, Pelsall.
Yeah.
And she came all the way up there with Bobby, and she was so
Oh,
lovely
look at
because
the
look at that smile.
Yeah, yeah.
She didn't take anything away from being my wedding day. She's a super celebrity, and to be fair, all the guests loved to see her. It was quite a thrill, but she didn't overwhelm the wedding, and it was very much left to be my day.
Well,
so
it was really nice that she came as well. And I just think, I think maybe many of us look at this and we realise our own mortality. We've all grown up with her, and now she's gone. And life's for living and for loving, hopefully, as beautifully as you two have done it. Lovely meeting you. Very nice. Very nice.
And you found your prince in the end, didn't you?
I did find
just
her,
not on Blind Date.
Not on Blind Date, but I still can't really believe it, to be honest. I think it's very
Do you know,
sad.
I just want to say, besides the sadness, Jenny Faulkner, really delighted to have her here today because she's an amazing athlete. Yesterday you were doing what?
Well, I did the Ride London, the Prudential Ride London, which is a 100-mile cycle. And I was number 13, OK? It was like a bit of a joke when I got given number 13. And everyone said it wasn't unlucky. Well, let me tell you, it is blooming unlucky.
How many punctures?
3 punctures.
That's not physically possible.
I was following you on
not.
Twitter. It was like the first one. I was like, oh no. Number 2, the third one, I thought this can't be.
Bad luck.
I know. Well, I was
Right.
cycling with Sam Bailey, and she had a very handy friend called Ian Harrison who managed to change my inner tube several times. That's not a euphemism, but
well done. Well done, Ian Harrison.
Thank you very much.
That is amazing. I think you'd have been quicker walking.
I
really,
think,
but
than
you got
that,
your
but
medal.
3 punctures.
You finished.
Well
I got
done,
my
Jenny.
medal.
Appreciate you coming in here today, guys. Thanks very much indeed.
Soon, Alex.
We're going to
Thank
hit the
you.
break. We've got Martin Lewis on how to save money on your summer holidays. Really some very interesting tips. And the man who calls Jamie Oliver son, or he calls him dad, or somewhere or other, he's Gennaro Contaldo, and he's going to share his secrets of how to cook pasta, OK? We're going to see you for all of that right after this short break. Don't go away.
And make it easy on yourself. Make it easy on yourself.
You want him out of our line?
Say again? No, my bag's there. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
I can hear somebody. Is somebody talking to me? Oh, he's still there. It's really annoying. Hi there. Hi there. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Great.
Sam, can you
Great.
do 2 things? Can you be aware? You should be aware that you've got Kate on left and Pete on right channels.
She's the one with the
Other way around,
boobs.
sorry, right. Cool.
Yeah, if this chap could just,
Great.
you just clear the background there.
And the other thing is you've turned the fold back down in the studio, haven't you?
So it's just annoying, I find, when you talk to a camera and there's somebody there in your face taking your picture.
Are you okay?
Yes, that's great, thanks. It's lovely.
Hello?
I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
hear somebody.
Yeah,
Hi
smashing.
there.
Hi.
Okay, thank you.
You okay,
5
love?
minutes, yeah, fine, thank you. Thanks.
Wow, you know, we're just sitting talking to Martin Lewis. Everybody that comes in, we say, did you ever meet Cilla? Did you ever meet Cilla? I was only with her only 8 weeks ago.
Is that the Shirley Bassey
tribute night?
Yeah.
I think this shows how iconic Cilla is by you can judge your age by what you remember her for. I'm Blind Date and Surprise Surprise.
Oh, no.
If you're older, you're the songs.
Yeah.
And I think that just shows how she's seen through British cultural history of the last 50
years.
years.
On a Saturday night, she used to have a show. And she would knock on people's door. I'm outside this house and I'm going to go in. It was in black and white. But you could always tell, wherever the football match was, wherever she was, that was the match. It was going to be a match of the day that night because they used the outside broadcast. So if it was an Anfield or Old Trafford
same
or
cameras.
Yeah, the baseball ground or whatever, same cameras.
I still think of you in black and white now, Eamon.
Martin's here. He's got a few money-saving travel tricks for your summer holiday. That's what we're talking about.
Them, and this I'm really fascinated in. What is a PAO number on sun cream?
If you've got sun cream, the most important thing to do to make it last is to turn it around, and on the back it'll either say 12M or 24M. That's the...
Now, we took a close-up of this earlier.
Yeah, go on.
Let's have a look.
Cut it in.
Oh, we haven't got it.
It's all right.
I need to show
little
you
there.
this.
It's the period.
Hold it
the
still.
period after opening.
Really tight. Come in.
Little tiny thing
zoom,
here.
Zoom.
Right. Anyway, there.
And that is how long after opening the bottle.
Meaning 12 months.
12 months you have to continue to use it. Some are 24 months.
What if you can't remember when you bought it?
Well, you know, you always have to take a little bit of pinch of salt with this. But lots of people throw it away each summer and get a new one. And you know what? There are lots of sun creams in Poundland at the moment. And as long as they've got the UVA and the SPF, I've been told that's perfectly legit. Poundland, Pound World, all the other pound stores. Buy £1 sun cream and don't throw it away until after the period on the bottle.
The PAO number, lovely. OK, beating roaming charges in America?
In America. In Europe, it's now pretty easy because we have caps due to the European Union and how much it costs you. I'm not saying it's super cheap, but it's never too expensive.
No, it's incredibly irritating.
Why, what's that?
Because they then stopped you in the middle of doing whatever you're doing and they said, you have run out of data.
Bigger data package.
Oh,
I tell you
my
what's
head
more
in.
irritating. You're in the States. Do you know the cheapest O2 data package in the States?
No.
For 200 megabytes, which is not a lot, £120, Eamon.
Oh, dear.
120. That's how big. So people who go to the States, it costs an absolute fortune. Here's a trick around it, though. You get yourself the pay-as-you-go card from 3, a SIM from 3, even if you're not a 3 user. Your phone has to be unlocked, you put it in, right? Now, they have a thing called Feel at Home, which means in 27 countries, including the USA, you pay the same as you do at home. Now, USA roaming is normally expensive, but you have this in, you pay £10 to activate the SIM and then £15 to get 300 minutes, 3,000 texts and unlimited data and you can use that in the USA at no additional charge. So pop that in.
SIM card from 3.
From 3. The 3 pay-as-you-go SIM, it's Feel at Home. Don't have to do very much apart from charge it up. So that's 25 quid and you get pretty much all that while you're in the US.
Because you pay when someone leaves you a message as well, don't you?
You do pay when someone leaves you a message outside the UK, outside Europe, on EE and a couple of other networks. On EE, if someone leaves you a voicemail, you pay £1 a minute to receive it in the US, and then you pay £1 a minute to listen to it.
Yeah.
So turn your voicemail off if you're going outside the European Union.
Right.
Good one.
Do you pay in cash? You know when they say, do you want to pay cash or your card?
You say my husband will pay
I'll
for
say,
it.
give it to him.
I say, give it to him.
The question they ask you, the key
money.
one everybody always asks me is when I'm abroad and I pay on my card, should I pay in euros or pounds when they ask me? Now, I could give you a very complicated explanation as to why.
You haven't got time for that, sorry.
Euros. Euros, 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 euros. You can go and Google why if you want to, but the answer is euros. And also, while we're at it, don't buy your hot foreign currency at the airport. Go and do a comparison first. Airport's the most expensive rates. Even pre-order to pick up at the airport is cheaper. And the best solution of all, get yourself an overseas spending credit card like Halifax Clarity or the Post Office. Set up a direct debit to pay it off in full every month. That's the cheapest way to spend abroad. Don't just assume it's bureau de change. It isn't.
If you have a place abroad, for instance, and you're going over regularly, is it better to have an account, a euros account in a bank in Spain or Portugal or wherever it happens to be?
You might prefer that for flexibility
Ireland?
of making payments.
Yes.
If you wanted to make payments to people so that you were, for example, you're paying someone who couldn't take a credit card or a debit card. If you're just talking about spending, then the overseas spending credit cards, they give you get perfect exchange rate, the same interbank rate the banks do. So you get the perfect exchange rate, but you can't make payments to them. So you might want a euro account in that case.
There's a refund trick that you should listen out for here, and this is with EasyJet. Flight refund trick. Tell us about that.
Very simple. If you've booked an EasyJet flight, check the price of it. If the price has dropped since you booked it, if you're entitled to a refund if you call up and ask for it. They give you the refund difference in vouchers. It's not in cash. They don't have to do this, but they do. It's one of their services. You just call up customer services. I've had people get £300-400 back because the price has dropped. Family of 4 by 100 quid each, £400 back in vouchers. That's enough to pay for another flight. So if you're on EasyJet, go check the price now and compare it to what you paid when you booked it.
OK, that's great. Your time's up, I'm afraid, Martin.
Oh, we can't do EHC. 5 million of these EHC keycards have dated. 5 million are out of date. Check the number 9 on your EHC card, or it isn't valid. It's not a substitute for travel insurance, but take it when you go to Europe.
And it's all on the website. Quick, I'll speak before he does competition for you. £80,000 up for grabs. You have a great holiday with that, and it's tax-free.
Indeed.
We think you deserve some luxury in your life. That's why we're giving you another chance to win an incredible £80,000 in tax-free cash this week. With that sort of money, you can treat yourself to some fun in the sun, arrive in style, or finally put your feet up.
Go on, you know you want to. For a chance to win big, all you have to do is...
text PRIZE to 82336. Text costs £1.50 plus one standard network rate message. Call 09041 61 9999. Calls cost £1.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to Day 3015, PO Box 7558, Derby DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 5 p.m. on Sunday the 30th of August. Good luck!
Tributes coming in all the time for Cilla Black. We're going to Liverpool for reaction there to the loss of one of their own. Here's what people there had to say.
I was absolutely shocked. I really was. I'm really saddened. I liked Cilla.
She is the original Scouse bird, really.
She was a superb artist, but also a genuine, warm person that seemed to come across in her personality. So I think she'd be sorely missed, not just by Liverpool, but by the rest of the country.
She was a great ambassador for Liverpool. She was full of life. She was full of charm in her own way, but she stayed true to herself.
She's almost a Liverpool icon. She's fourth grace, almost.
I think she had the spirit of the city and the common touch of the city.
Common touch of the city. Let's go to the city, and we've got the actress and impressionist Kate Robbins there, and we've got Pete Price. He writes for The Echo, and also Pete broadcasts on Radio City. Lovely to talk to you, but, you know, very sad occasion. Very, very sad. How are you feeling?
Oh, well, we're all shocked, Eamon. I mean, I don't think anybody expected this. We're really, really sad about a legend and a one-off that she was. That funny, talented star that was Cilla Black. I mean, just amazing woman, amazing memories I've got anyway.
Yeah, what about
I first met her when I was...
I spoke to her the other day and she was fighting fit. She was raring to go. I said, when are you coming back from Spain? Can we go and have dinner? She said, yeah. And she was on form. She'd had the problems with her arms, which seemed to have got better. And she was fighting fit. It was amazing. So it's such a shock. And it's only just sinking in here.
Yeah.
I know, I think it's only sinking in with a lot of people. We obviously had a lot of her friends on today, including you two. Pete, Kate said there she was a star, but she wasn't a star when you met her. You met her at the Cavern Club, which is there behind you. Tell us about that first meeting.
I was down there putting my coat in. I just sagged off from school, put my coat in down there and saw this red hair and was talking to her. And then on the Wednesday at the YMCA in Hoylake, the Big Three were on, who were my favourite group. And this girl got up singing Fever, and I went, that's the cloakroom attendant. Went round and she was truly, I was shocked. It was amazing. We were friends, but not close. And then in 2008, she did the pantomime at the Empire when she closed the year of the capital of culture, and we became buddies, and that's when we cemented our friendship.
I mean, I met Cilla when, first of all, when I was 7 years old, when I was meeting the Beatles for the first time, and never mind John Lennon, I was more thrilled to see this lovely lady in a silver dress on New Year's Eve in the family party. And I was just so thrilled to meet Cilla Black, because I had a hairdo like hers, short at the back and sort of pointed down at the front. And all little girls in Liverpool wanted to be like Cilla Black. And it was only years later when I wrote Surprise, Surprise, and I worked with her on that series, that I got to know the warm, lovely, talented woman that she was.
And that music, that theme tune for Surprise, Surprise, Kate, just sounded like the type of song she would sing. You obviously wrote that very much knowing her music and the woman.
Yes, and I loved Step Inside Love, which was her song from the 60s that she had on a TV show then, and I loved the way she sang it. And she used to walk into somebody's front room. It was almost like she was in the lounge with you. And I wanted to recreate that with Surprise, Surprise. That sort of singing to the person at home, you know, that intimacy that she got.
And it was a beautiful song. You're My World, she did in the finale of the Panto, and she got an instant standing ovation.
Yes.
And the cast cried. Ted was with us, your brother Ted Robbins, and everybody cried every night, every performance, matinees as well, and she got an instant standing ovation.
She was also, you know, she was musically very proficient. I mean, she sang the song Alfie, which is a very complicated song to sing with all the key changes. And, you know, I don't think people realise what a great singer and what a musical ear she had, you know, as well as being funny. And
no, I agree.
With her one-liners and her
you,
scouse
Kate.
wit.
And I think the Sheridan Smith dramatisation may make a lot of more people realise that. But Pete, just finally, you know, I think you're talking about working with her in Panto and being behind stage with her and whatever. There were two sides to her. There was this incredibly ordinary side, but yet there was no doubt that you were in the presence of a star. And she seemed to marry both of them very, very well.
She was an amazing lady. The real lady was the lady, beautiful homes, but all lived in. And she had this warmth, and I'll never forget. She'd come down in the morning, she's making you bacon butty, but she's got the glass of champagne in her hand.
Yes.
And that was Cilla. And I was working last night on my show, and I looked up at the sky, and I thought one of the stars has gone out, and that's our star. And she's going to be missed so much.
And she loved my impression of her. She didn't mind it. She had a very self-deprecating humour. So I don't feel too guilty about that because she loved going around saying Laura, Laura. She took it on board and she was great with it. You know, she had a fabulous sense of humour at all times.
She was just a fun woman. We took her out one night and she said, I'll have one more drink. 5:45 in the morning, we put her home in a taxi with the coat on inside out, and she got papped. She wasn't happy about that.
But you know what? I reckon if we weren't talking about her today, she'd be pretty annoyed. Actually, I think she wouldn't be too pleased.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Guys, really appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time and giving us your memories of the one, the only Cilla Black. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See you. Oh, people do smile a lot when they talk about her, don't they? They've all got these funny stories, like Biggins saying she was a great party girl. I like to think of her like that.
She's reminding me more and more of you.
I like a party, yeah.
No, you like a glass of champagne, but you like the bacon buddy. That would be
I like the glass of champagne and the bacon butty, yeah.
Ruth is amazing company to be out with. You're out with Ruth on a Friday night and she'll be, oh, no, drink for me, no, nothing for me, I'll have nothing, it will not cross my lips, you know, whatever. And then...
During the week, you mean?
And I'll be doing something, I'll be eating a Kit Kat or something, it'll be... No wonder you're the size you are. It'll be all this sort of thing. Anyway, a few quaffs back with Ruth on the way home. I'd love a kebab. I could have a burger. Is there any fish and chip shops? And that's you, isn't it? That's you.
Yes, gonna have fun on a Friday night.
Talking about food.
Talking about food, we've got the man who taught Jamie Oliver how to cook perfect pasta, actually. That is Gennaro Cataldo. He's in our kitchen this morning and he's giving us a pasta masterclass. Did you know you're supposed to put salt in the water? Didn't know that, you see?
No, I thought pasta came out of a tin. I have no idea.
You're so honestly. What am I going to do with you?
Don't look at me, anyway.
Spaghetti hoops, that's what you thought it was.
We're also with the Cilla special throughout the day. Denise Robertson is giving her reflections and taking your calls on bereavement and Cilla memories right after this.
What's it all about? When you sort it out, I'll be. Are we meant to take more than we give? Or are we meant to be kind? Step inside love and see. Step inside love. Step inside love.
Hello, welcome back to this morning special tribute to Cilla Black. Denise Robertson is here this morning, and we've been asking you about your memories of Cilla. What about yours, Denise?
Well, I seem to have known her forever, but I do remember very early on meeting her and Bobby, and he said to me, we watched this morning, he said, we watch your phone-ins, and he said, sometimes we're watching and we're in bed. And he said, when you make us cry, the sheet comes in handy to mop. And that conjured up for me a picture of two people totally at ease with one another, in bed, maybe with a cup of coffee, watching the telly. And afterwards, when I talked, after he died, when we talked together, I just felt he was her first love and her last love.
Yeah, and life without him was hard, as
And a
all
lot
her
of people
friends have been
crying
telling
about
us.
her today. We've
Yep.
had Lionel Blair on, and we've had Christopher Biggins and Jerry Mars all shedding a tear for her today.
Yeah, and you're sending all your memories as well. And we've got John on the line. Hello, John. Hi, John. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, John. So you met Cilla at a fan club, I believe.
Well, it was, I used to get tickets for Surprise Surprise, and I was fortunate enough to get them in 1996, when Chet Duckworth was there, Peter Andre, and a group of us went along, and Martin Lewis was on the weatherman, he was on the programme. So Cilla said, do anybody know what ice bars are? So anyway, what happened was, I basically put my hand up because I've done flying, I've done sailing, I know the depression system in the weather. So anyway, when I said that, she said, oh, we got smarty pants in the audience. But I felt so at ease, you know. She basically, her aura came across very caring, she was never judgmental, and she loved you for what you were.
And you said she took time to come and talk to the audience and people backstage, and she didn't just sit in her dressing room.
No, I believe she was like that in real life. I believe that it didn't matter what background you came from, she would accept you for what you are, you know, and she was never judgmental. I really, really loved her for that.
Yeah.
And I always remember anybody had a heart. I remember my mum buying a vinyl.
On vinyl, yes.
On vinyl. Thanks,
yeah,
John.
we all remember vinyl. Thank
Thanks
you,
very
John.
much indeed. We've got Emma now. Emma, you really did believe, like the rest of us, that she was a national treasure.
Yes, absolutely. Our Cilla is our national treasure and will forever be in all of our, you know, loving thoughts and memories. She's touched the lives of so many, and especially myself. I had the privilege of meeting Cilla on one of her wonderful blind date shows, and Cilla, she was so sweet to me, and she matched me with a Prince William lookalike. Unfortunately, that didn't work out, but Cilla gave me the strength that you don't always need to have a Prince Charming. You can have that strength within you to keep going. So she's really given me that strength, you know, in life. But also she changed my life with a career in the TV entertainment industry, from her welcoming me on the show and meeting up with Cilla at the parties after the show. And she was always, you know, a wonderful host there, and invited me onto her table with all her lovely friends. So Cilla is our national treasure, but also she is a fashion icon as well. She inspired me with all the leather, stunning outfits that Cilla wore, and you can see a picture of me there with Cilla wearing one of her stunning Chatois leather outfits, and really inspired me as well to dress like Cilla, with, you know, always looking so smart and elegant.
She was.
Well, Emma, thanks very much indeed for that call, and we're going to be taking more of your calls right after the break. We're going to be talking to Barbara Windsor, we're going to be talking to Gloria Hunniford, and we've got more from Denise right after this short break. Please don't go away. all just sitting here talking about Cilla and the fact we knew she was a viewer off this morning, and Denise would talk about that now. She hung on your advice and you would know that.
We used to do open phone-ins, and always there was a bereavement question in it. And she said to me after Bobby died, I used to hang on your every word.
Yeah.
And I remember I was having lunch in the Ivy, not a thing I do often, but
So
she was
showbiz,
there
Denise.
with a very high-up executive, and she called me over and she said to him, this woman's been my rock. And I actually hadn't done anything except give her the chance. She knew I'd been through the same
She was relating to you on
experience.
TV the way a lot of people related to her.
Yeah.
And, you know, viewers watching all the time, and we're just thrilled to have Barbara Windsor as a viewer, and I know, Barbara, you want to talk about her. And, Barbara, the last time I saw Cilla was in your company. It was at a Variety Club tribute to Shirley Bassey. It was what? It's only
Variety,
8 weeks
funny.
ago.
Yeah, that's what you were going to say that, because that's when she wasn't feeling too good. And you and I did all our opening of it, didn't we?
Yeah.
Our Charlie Charm bit. And then I saw her and she was sitting down, and I went over and I said, hello, darling, give her a kiss. And she said, I don't feel too good. I've got this. And she was complaining about rheumatism and the hearing and all the rest of it. She looked immaculate, as you know, fantastic. Yeah. And I said, and straight away I went into my Barbara and I said, I know, darling, we're all getting like that. It's awful. I said, you're only 72. I'm 78, so we were, you know, talking about age. He said, I never thought this would happen. And I said, I'm exactly the same how you feel. And suddenly Bassey walked in, looking really sharp and with everybody around her. I said, come on, let's get our act together. Let's not talk about all the aches and pains. And she was okay. And then I saw her at Paul's, and she looked much better at Paul's. And she was talking, we were talking about what she might be doing. She had ideas for something. And she'd been to see the great Jim Dale. You know, Jim Dale, who from the Carry On film, you know, the counter. And what a wonderful act. And, you know, said it would be nice to do something like that. So that's how I last saw her, talking very positive. And so this is why it's a bit of a shock, you know.
Oh, it's more than a bit of shock.
You know what I would have done? I'm, you know, old school. You know what I'm like. And I always say get up. But I don't think I could have worked today. I genuinely don't.
No.
I've been sitting here watching you, taking her in. You know, I was so happy that you've done this show. That I can sit there and relive her with you.
Yeah, everyone wanted to talk about her today, Barbara.
Yeah.
And we were saying to Biggins, and you know, it will be probably later on that so many of her friends go, I'm expecting her to walk through the door, Denise. You know, it's sometimes you go to phone somebody. I think that's when it's hard for people bereavement. Months later, Barbara, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't see her so often since I gave up, you know, the drink. And you know, because that was heavy duty keeping up with her, you know. And so I didn't see it, but you know, every now and then we'd have dinner together, and she came to my birthday, and she was at my table. You know, we've been friends over the years because I've known her since '64 when we did the Royal Command, you know, a show we did together, and we played the Gypsy. The thing she did, we did that, and also years ago I did another show with her. And right at the beginning, when she did, I remember how nervous we all were. It was all actors. It was one of those shows where they had famous people doing songs and all the rest of it. And she just had that hit record. There was nothing nervous about her. But then when you're young like that, you know, we were all like all old actors when we felt. And but I thought she was magnificent and wonderful. It's a beautiful lady.
Well, it's lovely to hear your memories of her, Barbara.
Yeah,
and thanks for talking to us today.
And thank you for the show.
No.
It's a great tribute.
And listen,
to her.
don't you be leaving us any time soon, do you hear me?
Sod off. No. I'll come and drive you mad before then.
Love you. Bye-bye.
God bless you, my lovelies. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Barbara has the same quality that Cilla had, that in our minds she is eternally a girl.
Absolutely right. Yeah. Absolutely right. Let's go to Gloria, someone else who's like that in my mind. Gloria Hunniford. Gloria,
morning, Gloria.
Good morning. And Gloria,
Eamon
I know...
and Ruth, good morning, and what a lovely tribute you're paying to Cilla. I think, you know, from my point of view, I'm like the rest of the nation, you know, so saddened and yet shocked, because I saw her just a couple of weeks ago at a friend's barbecue, and we sat for a long time just chatting, and although, as Barbara said, you know, she was talking about her hearing and her sight and a bit of the arthritis, but, you know, you get to a certain point and we're all talking about that. And but I saw nothing that was life-threatening. And I think that's why when I heard the news yesterday, I mean, apart from being deeply saddened and feeling like I'd lost a family member, really, really shocked that something had taken her out so quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there is a post-mortem happening today, so nobody's absolutely sure, but it seems that she went in her sleep. How long had you known her, Gloria?
Well, the very building you're sitting in, of course, used to be London Weekend Television, and when I came across from Ireland in the early 80s, we were all doing programmes out of that stable. And so I got to know her professionally then, and then over the years, got to know her very well, because another friend who had a very rich husband used to send us all off on holiday to celebrate our friend's birthday every October. So we went to every part of the world that you can think of, but then Cilla was not Cilla the performer. She was a girly girl who sat down, and those are some of my favourite memories, because we discussed, you know, being grandparents, and, you know, it was just lovely to have that girly chat apart from the showbiz chat that we so often would have had.
Gloria,
And sorry?
How much did she miss Bobby? Because, you know, when he left her life in 1999 and then the telly work came to an end 2 or 3 years later, those were big voids to fill, and part of me thinks she never did fill either.
In my opinion, she never really got over the void that Bobby left, because they were together 24/7. And I heard Biggins talking earlier on about how Cilla and he and myself did this charity thing at the Palladium. And, you know, Bobby was there that day on all our cases. And I remember thinking, I wish I had a Bobby who would give me that professional advice. He made sure that Cilla moved like a star, acted and behaved, you know, in the best way possible as a star. He was everything to her 24/7. So she would often say to us, look, I've got walkers to take me places, but there will never be another Bobby, and there'll never be any romance. So I think that Bobby was never replaced on all levels in her life.
Yeah.
Gloria, thanks very much for that
thank you.
insight. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Do you agree with that? Bobby was the one?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think she was incredibly lucky that she met very early on the perfect match.
Yeah.
Just one final thing. I think why Cilla's passing touches so many people, they felt they knew her. And maybe it brings memories of other people they knew and other people who have left them and other people who they're frightened of leaving them and losing in their lives now. You can understand that.
Yes, it shakes your world when somebody who has always been there and been high profile suddenly isn't there, and it makes you think about mortality. I think that happens to everybody, but I think we, in spite of that and the feeling of loss that her going brings, we ought to remember the joy that she gave us and the fact that she loved life.
Yeah, all the pictures there with Barbara Windsor and with Gloria, they're smiling. Everybody's having fun. They all said they had such fun with her.
She will forever be part of the Liverpool era that I think made the world a much better place.
When ordinary people became extraordinary.
Absolutely.
Yeah, in showbiz, thank you. But you know what?
Thanks,
I don't
Sinead.
think we'll ever lose her. She'll always be there in her TV appearances and her pictures.
Music,
and the music.
Music,
I think the
always
music
there.
will have a resurgence now.
Absolutely. I think there's I believe there's an online petition or campaign going at the moment to get some of her music back into the charts.
Lovely.
So I'm sure that will happen. Lovely
Thank you,
to see
Denise. Thank you very much indeed. Here's the competition.
This could be your sun lounger. This could be your glass being filled with champagne. These could be your flip-flops, abandoned whilst you're off gallivanting in the sea. And this could be your hand punching the air when you find out you've won. That's right, with another chance to win a staggering £80,000 in tax-free cash this week. It could be you living the life of Riley.
So, what are you waiting for? Now is the time to enter. For your chance to win £80,000, all you have to do is text PRIZE to 82336. Text costs £1.50 plus one standard network rate message. Call 09041 61 9999. Calls cost £1.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to Day 3015, PO Box 7558, Derby DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 5 p.m. on Sunday the 30th of August. Good luck!
Now, food for you now, and if it's the Dolce Vita you're after, you know what that
With
means?
the Dolce Vita. It's good anyway, whatever it means.
A good life.
A good life.
Well, we've got the king of the good life, the king of pasta with us this morning. This is Gennaro Cataldo. I hope I said that properly. Perfecto. He'll be here in just a sec.
Looking for a little inspiration? This morning food is sponsored by Carte d'Or.
Now, Gennaro is no ordinary chef. Gennaro is the man who taught Jamie Oliver everything he knows about pasta or ever needed to know. Is that correct? You are the...
Yes, about pasta, but the rest is very talented boy, my goodness.
He is the talented boy, and you're very close. I mean, you're very good friends. How did you meet him?
Well, we met, remember, quite a few years ago. Actually, we're talking about over 20 years ago when he was a young boy and he wanted to learn about Italian food. Said, there he goes. So we started working together. We wanted to learn about Italian food, so I showed everything I knew it, and the rest he put himself. And since then, we are very close friends. Then now we have all these gem Italian restaurants.
So you're going to teach us everything you taught Jamie about pasta.
Right.
So what's the first
And it's
thing
all
you
here
want
in
us to
Jamie
know?
Oliver's Food Tube, the pasta book. So you put that together.
Yes, it is in such a lovely, lovely book. This recipe, this pasta, is actually come from the book. What we're going to make a conchiglione al forno. Conchiglione is pasta shells.
Oh, these big shells,
Yeah, which they'll be pre-cooked for about 5 minutes. They'll be drained, and then first of all...
Can I just ask you said cook for 5 minutes. Do you have all your pasta is it al dente?
Al dente.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you what al dente means. It's not because to the tooth, because when it's just undercooked, you chew it longer, you taste it better. Also, you digest it better. This is what al forno is. Al dente means.
You have it a little bit chewy.
Well, Italy is about taste.
Yeah.
Like you want to taste, so you have to chew it longer.
Okay.
So, what we do it, first of all, we need to do some quick tomato sauce. So I got tins of tomato, which use
that
your
looks like
hands.
fun.
Yeah, it's good. Just
If I didn't have this dress on, I'd have a go at that.
No, it is. You want to try?
No, because I don't want to hold
You
my
sure?
dress.
Eamon, you want to try?
No, I'm all right, mate. I never get the stains out of this shirt.
So those is done. So here I have some olive oil. So let's put some gas on, and you use about a couple of cloves of garlic. Put on a tip, slice the garlic. Nice.
I don't want to make you nervous, but we have one of the MasterChef finalists watching you from the sidelines here. I don't want to make you nervous.
No, all right. I'm nervous. Tell me.
That's Ryland. He's waiting. That's Ryland.
Can you do that?
No, I can't do nothing. Don't know how I got to the final.
So garlic and chilli.
Garlic is make sweat. You saw you have to sweat the garlic and chili.
Okay.
The word sweat is when you're joking. Burn it when you sit under the sun and become like a pepperoni. So don't do that. So as soon as everything is wet, because for the sakes, look at that, it's wet, it's nice. Just add the tomato inside. Be careful, don't worry about it. Good.
Yeah.
Season a little bit. Just a little bit. Look at that, lovely. Already cooked. Get lots of basil inside.
Love a bit of basil.
Oh,
love basil, one of my favourite
all
herbs.
this. Now, let it cook for about 20 minutes. Let's remove it. And you get this lovely
And so
rich
this
sauce.
is like your classic base tomato sauce for
Classic.
lots of Italian dishes, then?
It is indeed. Look, it does take long at all.
And you cook that down so it's quite thick?
Yes.
Yeah.
You need a nice sauce. You can see here already prepared some, so the shelves. So inside the bowl, I get some ricotta. Make sure you get some lovely fresh ricotta. The word ricotta, it means recooked. Then you get some parmesans. A little bit of salt, just a little bit of salt, because parmesans already have some salt inside.
Now, I was talking to you before we came on today. I came to say hello.
Yeah.
And you said always put salt in your pasta water when you boil it. I've never done that. And you were horrified.
Because you have to put a salt. Too much salt is bad for you. Too little is also is not good. Doesn't mean you put 10 grams of salt on each liter. Doesn't mean you're going to get 10 grams. You roughly get about just a slice.
So you always put salt in the water?
Always put salt in, unless you cannot have salt at all. So it's that.
So you've got a fresh basil leaf in
A fresh basil leaf, yes, because what actually we do it, so to go quickly, actually, it's quite easy. I prepared already some. So you got some lovely, you mix all together, you get inside your hands, you make to a little bowls like this one. You get some basil leaves, there it is. You wrap each one in a basil leaves. Then you put them inside the shells. And then again, look.
So you put your sauce on the bottom?
Oh, yes, you do.
Very simple, very
simple.
effective.
And then you carry on again. So I am at 2 or 3, exactly the same. Then what you do to cover up, Look, then you got your sauce. Don't worry, Eamon. Just a little bit of sauce on almost
that looks nice.
everyone. Oh, it's so good. This is very good. It's comfort food. This is for family, you know, nice to make this one for dinner.
Looks nice, nice colour, nice flavours.
Indeed.
And then you bake that, Gennaro,
And then
do
you bake it. So you get some mozzarella on top. There it goes. Little grated over parmesans, which I have.
How long have you lived here?
You mean still can't speak English?
I didn't say that. Did I say that?
No. Do you want to put this one in the oven?
In the oven.
I just meant,
all right.
I just meant how
this
lovely.
One. This one.
Where's the one that's already done?
Okay, but I need for you to cook it. Go, put them inside. Yeah. It's a microwave.
Here's the one. Here's the one you did earlier.
This is one I did
Here we
earlier.
go. No, all I meant was how lovely you haven't lost your accent, is what I meant. It is.
I love it. I speak my Italian's like an Italian
There you are, my
cheese.
friend.
I love
that.
that.
Looks
There it
really,
is.
really good.
It's all
Thank you.
here.
That looks lovely.
And it's all in the book.
It's all there in the book, and you serve it up. That's
Here's
lovely.
lunch.
Let me just...
Oh, look, we can't wait. How common are we, Eamon, diving in before
I
it's
had
on
a
the plate?
whole cooking day planned yesterday.
Rylan, come and have a taste.
I had a whole
Come
cooking
on.
day planned
Come on,
yesterday.
Ryan. Yes.
Yeah, I had. And I had all the barbecue ready. And it never happened because I couldn't turn the barbecue
turn the
on.
flipping thing
Why
on.
barbecue so complicated? I couldn't turn it up. Couldn't turn
Man
it
on
up.
fire.
Thank you. We're back. We're taking more tributes to Scylla right after the break. Gennaro, thank you very much indeed. We'll see you after this. Don't go away.
I'm gonna put that there. I don't want anyone to.
I can't hear you.
Me?
Too many people talking.
Sorry, guys. Where are we?
In Central.
Cameras have gone out. We didn't. Sorry, Joe. I'll meet you. Okay.
Have you got time to bring them back? Okay.
Terrible though with these tapes.
I hope we managed to put everything in, but 7 minutes is
Lovely
enough.
to meet you.
Let's do that.
Really enjoyed
We worked
that.
together before, yes.
Yes,
did.
we have. Yes. No, it's great.
Enjoy
So-
that.
I loved it, and it's really delicious. Thank you. See you again, hopefully.
Oh, yes.
Jimmy might be on the phone. Yeah, okay.
That's great.
Have we got Jimmy on the phone, guys?
Eamon.
Is he on the line? Alex, can you check if Jimmy's on the line?
Jimmy who?
Tarbuck. So I'm going to do his statement and then we'll chuck to him on the phone if he's there, but I know we had a problem with his number.
Is Jimmy there? Can we talk to Jimmy?
My pen.
He's on the line.
He's on the line. He's on the line.
Jim,
Who's had my pen?
I haven't got your pen. Jimmy, it's Eamon here. Can you hear me, Jimmy?
Good day, Eamon. How are you?
Well,
Hi, Jimmy.
it's all a sad day, my friend, and I presume she's one of your oldest friends.
Well, I've known her since she was 15.
Wow. Well, Jimmy, it's up to you. Is there anything you particularly want us to ask you, or we just leave it to you?
Well, you go in, and then, you know, if I'm talking too much, shut me up.
Jimmy, you'll only have a couple of minutes. That's the problem. So if you can think of 2 minutes in your head, we're coming to the end of the programme, OK?
Only if you do me one favour.
Yeah?
Yes?
Get me some of those youth tablets you're obviously taking.
What did he say?
Get some of the youth tablets.
It's all right, Jim. I'm
It's the
their dealer. I'll
Botox.
sort
It's
you
the
right out.
Botox, Jimmy.
Jimmy, remember, there are no wrinkles on a balloon. I work very hard keeping this weight up.
Listen, it's nice to see you and your daughter working together.
Ah, Jimmy, I love you. How's Lisa? I haven't seen her for ages. Oh, he's gone.
Did you get my text?
Sorry, I didn't reply.
And make it easy on yourself.
We've had 2 hours reflecting on our memories and your memories of Cilla Black. We're going to get more reaction to that from your tweets and emails. I'm also going to be hearing from Jimmy Tarbuck, one of her closest friends. He's known her since he was 15. All that to come. Let's get the competition.
Sit back and relax, because we're taking care of the year ahead with an incredible £80,000 up for grabs. That's right, this week we're giving you another chance to win a sensational prize of £80,000 in tax-free cash.
And with that sort of money, you could celebrate in style. Remember, all you need to do for your chance to win big is...
Text prize to 82336. Text costs £1.50 plus 1 standard network rate message. Call 09041 61 9999. Calls cost £1.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to Day 3015, PO Box 7558, Derby DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 5 p.m. on Sunday the 30th of August. Good luck!
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you so much for all morning for your lovely memories and tweets and emails about Cilla. Patricia said, I cried when I heard the news. She was always on the television when I was growing up, such a warm person. And that's really reflected in most of the messages from you today. And Ryland's here because so many celebrities tweeting. This all started yesterday, and it's just a continual stream outpouring of heartfelt
It is,
kind of
and do you know what's so lovely about it as well? I don't know if you can see this, but this is not even a millionth of the tweets that we could have read out today. David Cameron started the tweets on Twitter. He said, Cilla Black was a huge talent who made a significant contribution to public life in Britain. My thoughts are with her family. So he started one of the tweets there. Paul O'Grady, I mean, our thoughts are with him today. We all knew how close he is to Cilla.
Well, Biggins was saying, he spoke to me yesterday, and he's terribly upset, probably why he hasn't gone any interviews today.
And you know what? I think that's understandable. You know, he said she was like a sister to him. Please tell me this isn't true. We've been friends for nearly 20 years. She is like my sister. Apart from her hearing that she was all right, we had a week together in Barbados at the beginning of the year, and I saw her on my birthday. I thought she was well. I can't believe it, to tell you the truth. I kept telling her she'd outlive us all. She's such a strong lady. It's so sad.
I want to talk to one of our oldest friends and colleagues now, and that is the entertainer and the comedian, Mr. Jimmy Tarbuck. Jimmy, how did you hear the news, and how did you react?
Well, like everybody else, I couldn't believe it. My grandson told me.
Yeah. And how far do you and her go back?
Well, I knew her when we were kids in Liverpool, and she always... Liverpool has lost its Cinderella, because that's what she was. And it was a real rags to riches story. And she always said to me, I'm going to be a star, you know. And we all believed it because of her energy, her personality. But she did love Cliff Richard. And she went to a Cliff Richard concert one day when we were kids. And she got a taxi to follow him home in his car. And she saw this figure get in the car. And she followed the car in the taxi and came back to my mum's house, and it was me.
Thing is, Jim, everybody's saying this morning, you know, you can take the girl out of Liverpool, but you never took Liverpool out of the girl. She never lost sense of her roots, did she?
Oh, well, not at all. I mean, people took the Mickey out of her. you know, saying a lot of laughs. But you did have, that's what you had with her.
Yeah, well, we're looking at a lovely picture of you and her having
a lot of laughs. Yeah.
She was so lovely, and you know, the word star, as we all know, is overused. But she was a star at the Palladium, the Sydney Opera House. It was Cilla, and one of the few people in show business with just that name. You can say Cilla, you can say Ringo, you can say Elvis, and you know right away. And she was an icon, and it's just dreadful at 72 years of age that she's left us. And I can't tell you guys, it's a very, very sad moment for me. I really, really miss her.
You miss her.
Yeah.
OK. Jimmy, really appreciate that. Thank you for
Jimmy.
taking the time, trouble. It's a great tribute to her. Appreciate that. Thank you very much indeed. And that's the pain and that's the sorrow that so many people feel, and so many people grew up across so many generations.
And like Jimmy said as well, 72 years old. I mean, that's not old at all. You know, I mean, that's really young when you think about things. And for someone like what Paul said, we all thought Cilla would outlive everyone. She's just such an icon.
She packed a lot into that life, didn't she?
She did. And the Beatles, you know, very, very close to her. Obviously, when she used to be at the Cavern with them, Paul McCartney released a statement today saying, "Such a shock to hear about Cilla's passing. She was a lovely girl who infected everyone with her great spirit. From first meeting her as a cloakroom girl at the Cavern in Liverpool, seeing her many times since, she always had a fun-loving dignity, and that we know and love her."
Rylan, thank you very much indeed for that. Thank you for everybody who got in touch today. I think nobody summed it up better maybe than Jimmy Tarbuck. Simply, Cilla, we'll miss you.